Okay, what is happening, everybody? With Muffins with Morgan, we had some technical difficulties. Those are never fun at all. However, we are back with episode 3, and we got to have our guy. Let's go. All right, so everybody that's tuning in, let us know what's going on. If you let us know you're live in the out there, let us know you're tuning in from where you're at. And yeah, so today we're going to answer some questions. Nothing crazy, nothing insane, but we're going to go through our normal drill that we typically go through. Now, in going through like different ways of how we go about certain things, if you have a question that's pressing, burning, you're like, oh Morgan, I answer this question, throw it in the chat. Obviously we're gonna handle that, but obviously we want to know where you are tuning in from. We love seeing where everyone's at, so let's just show some love to some people. Tom, what's good? Out in Phoenix. Elijah, excited for your first one. Hopefully you come back. Hopefully you're not like, oh, Morgan's crazy, I'm gonna come back. So good to see you. We have Denver in the house. We have Hoganville in the house. Looks like that's Minnesota. Got Portland. We got, let's see what else. We got Grand Rapids, right? Shout out. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know where you're coming out. Now, as you all may know, actually, I'm gonna throw on my song. I don't know if y'all have heard this song before. It's on my soundboard, but it's pretty lit. Like, yo, this song. Hey, this is a good Friday song. I don't even know what it's called, but it's lit. All right, like, let me know if in the chat this song's kind of lit. It's kind of lit. This is a stock song. Put a one in the chat if you're like, it's kind of lit for a stock song. Like, I didn't make this beat, and I just heard it. And I was like, yo, it's kind of lit, But I digress. So why are y'all here? Let's get right into it, because I know everyone has a busy things. We got a lot of stuff going on. This whole show it's all right. I mean, look, if it's bad, if y'all didn't like it, y'all could put 2 and be like, oh, I don't think that's a jam. I thought it was a jam because it was stock and you can't play songs on streams. You got copyright strikes. We don't want that. So I thought it was lit for what it was, right? But let's get into what we're going to talk about. So if you haven't been here before, the whole goal of this show, we're here for an hour and I answer questions for an hour. So any sales question you have, marketing question, look, if you have a personal question, we will answer that on the show. And we keep this interactive throughout the entire time. So it looks like we have people from all across the world. We have Philippines in the house. I mean, we have Raleigh in the house, right? Oh, dude, we got Rome, Italy in the house. I mean, we have a lot of people active. So, for that, we love to see that, right? But the thing is, if you have any questions, throw it in the chat and we will get into it. And I'll go ahead and answer the questions. So that's really what we're going to be doing here. Now, as we go into the questions, and there typically could be an influx of questions, I'll make sure I can dive into every single one and give you the best answer I can give you, right? But whoever wants to kick us off could drop us in the chat. And then Connor, yeah, I'm turning on the tunes, man. Again, some people may not like the tunes, but I saw it and I was like, this is kind of fire. I was like, I gotta go check this out, right? So y'all might be thinking about your questions, right? Because you want to ask a really good question to start out. This is what I will start out with as a question. And I always have questions that come throughout the week and I like to address them. So one question that I got asked is around content and how to start creating content. So I'm curious, put a 3 in the chat if you are, maybe you're out there, maybe you're a sales rep, maybe you're not a sales rep and you want to start creating content. Put a 3. I just want to see like who is about this right now, who actually wants to go and create some content. Put a 3. Now, the question was around, hey, Morgan, I have a lot of things going on. I'm selling, I'm prospecting. How do I go out and create consistent content? Okay, fantastic question. So the thing is that what I always tell people is when you think about creating content, it's not about just like, all right, let me go and just create the video. Let me get the backlight. Let me get the setup, right? Let me get all this stuff around, right? That is the quickest way to take an L. Like, that's not what you want. So what you want to do is think about what you have to do on a day-to-day basis. What you should be doing on a day-to-day basis is learning more about the buyer. I know. Shocking. So what you want to do here, and Ranveer, appreciate your question. Hold on, we're gonna actually shout you out because you're the first person to get this question. And when the first person gets this question, what we like to do is show them some love right there. But the thing is, when you're looking to create content as a rep, and maybe put three, and maybe you're like Morgan, I don't know yet. Think of yourself as the curator, not the creator. I want you to think yourself as the curator and not the creator, right? So what is that? What does that even mean? So every single week, this is what my challenge to you all. Now, whoever takes up this challenge, great, you're gonna get meetings. I'm just telling you, I did this when I was in SDR. Every week, I would look up either an article, a blog post, or a podcast. And what I would do is I would read it or I'd listen to it and then figure out what were the three main takeaways I got from said thing. Then I would create a post around that thing and say, hey, I just read this article and here are the three things I got out of it. And I would tag the author. Well, typically what you're looking to read is stuff in your industry, right? You don't want to read things that are not in your industry because that doesn't make sense. As a seller, your whole goal is to continuously increase your business acumen and understand your industry. So you should already be doing what I just said. Now you're just adding on to what you're doing, and now you're curating inside of the feed on a weekly basis. So your buyers will be able to see your content. You're going to get impressions of the impressions that you want, and you may not get thousands of likes, you may not get thousands of comments, but what you always have to remember is that each impression could be a buyer. So maybe you have 5,000 impressions, or maybe you have 100 impressions. You're like, oh, that's not a lot, but I would rather have 100 impressions of C-suites than 10,000 impressions of people that are not going to buy. So I want y'all to think about that. I think sometimes in the social game, like obviously people want likes and comments. I understand that. Like I get it. But do you have to think about the impressions that you're getting? If you're posting contextual information on the industry and you have the impressions of your buyers, that's way more important than getting a lot of likes and comments of people that are not going to buy at the end of the day, right? Because you're creating content to lead to influence of buying at some point. So I wanted to just start with that. Someone had that question. I thought it was good. So hopefully it's helpful for you all out there as well if you're considering creating content. Now, here's the thing. These two that asked questions didn't know this, but today it's a special. I haven't done this before, but whoever asked the best question, I'm doing a giveaway. $15 Amazon gift card. Haven't done it before. But the thing is, best question gets it, and maybe you can buy yourself a muffin. I don't know. Maybe you're probably going to buy something besides a muffin, but you can go do whatever you want. So I'm just throwing out there, best question. That's what you're going to get. But let's get into the first question here. So how long before you got comfortable on the phone? Only been cold calling a week and fumbling my way through objections. I feel like I'm burning good leads. All right. So how long it takes for people to get comfortable is always based on the person, right? It's not based on like, hey, on average, here's this what it is, right? I could give it to you, but everyone's going to be different. I will tell you though how you can get to comfortability faster, right? So there's three ways on how you can do this. So I would write this down, and others I would also write this down. So the number one way to get better is to go and talk to your buyers. So that means going to customer success. That could mean going to anywhere really and finding access to those individuals to make sure you can get that engagement, right? Because if you're able to speak the buyer's language, you're going to be able to have better conversations. And because of better conversations, you will have ultimately better flow, right? So make sure that you're asking the buyer, right? What are some things that you're paying attention to? How do you have the right context? How do you get the right information, et cetera, right? That's like number one. Number two is how do you get more comfortable on the phone is to start writing out your frameworks. Okay, so when you're doing a cold call, what exactly does that look like, right? From beginning to end, you should know what's my introduction, what's my value prop, how do I handle objections, how do I do voicemails, right? There's all these different components that you could be doing that could typically lead to your success. So what I would ultimately tell you and to focus on is to really be like, okay, how can I understand to get better at my framework as a whole? Then the third piece is to then practice, and not always practice on people, but you want to practice with a potential, right? Practice with a potential rep or a rep that's already there. So what you want to do is talk to the rep, right? So do some mock cold calls, things of that nature, get it set up, whatever you want to do. That's how you're ultimately going to see success there. If you continuously, right, are talking to these reps and doing mock cold calls, you will inevitably get more confident across the board. So that's just what I would say there. Hopefully that's helpful for people that are looking to get better at cold calling. And I hope that helps answer your question. So let us know in the chat. All right. So we got some questions rolling. Like I said, we'll see who has the best question. We'll see who's had this gift card. All right, but here's the next question here. What's the best automated SMS and other tools for follow-up for small budgets and teams? So automated SMS. I don't know the best question for automated SMS. I believe there are some sales engagement tools that have this capability, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm not going to share something I'm not 100% confident on. So what I will say is that when you're looking to engage with someone, I mean, I guess, essentially, I think that you're asking, like, are you asking this like on a prospecting level? Because like that could also, I need some clarification. But let's just say like follow up in general. I'm just going to talk about text in general. So when you're texting, I would recommend get it during the sales cycle. Cold prospecting, right, may not be the best thing in the world. That's my take. There could be people that right have their opinions, but okay, Tom said there's something in the chat. Great. Boom. Like I would definitely use that, but I'm just going to give y'all just like, here's the thing, right? What I would tell you at the end of the day, like if you're going to do texting, because I think this is also an important point to note as well, texting is really, really good across the board with, all right, cool. Making sure and getting people's numbers, I would just say that allows you to have a personal relationship. That's really what it is at the end of the day. Like if you are texting, this allows you to have a personal relationship across the board. So, I mean, that's the way of going about it, but it looks like leads registered. You're asking a different question. I would follow what Tom said in the chat, follow up with that. But I will tell you all, if you are in a sales cycle right now, I would say make sure to get their number and text them if you can. And if they allow it, that's going to increase your close rate. And I've seen it across the board. So I don't want to dive too deeply into this. Looks like Nadia let us know if that was helpful, because it looks like Tom dropped something in the chat that Evan mentioned. So you can go check that out if you want to as well. So again, hopefully that was helpful. All right, y'all. Appreciate the questions flowing in. We will get to the questions. So you ain't got to worry about it. But Tom's got a question here. All right, with the constant evolution of technology and the rise of new sales channels, how do you recommend companies stay ahead of the curve and ensure their sales strategies remain relevant and efficient? Okay, so let's see. Okay, so the thing is, Damien, just DM me, let me know what event you're talking about. So the thing is right here that I want you all to think about is you have to break down your tech stack. So in the chat, let me know, right? Because this is a conversation between us here, right? And for those tuning in, welcome to the show. How many of you all feel like you have too much tech? Just be like too much in the chat. Feel like you have like too much tech. You're like, Morgan, we have a lot of tech. It's too much. It's actually overwhelming. It actually makes me not want to do anything because there's too much tech. So put too much in the chat if you're like, yo, we got too much tech. Or maybe you don't have enough tech. Maybe you're like, we actually need more technology. This is actually a helpful conversation. But if you are on the lane of, yo, we got too much tech, let us know in the chat, but like too much. Because this might be a scenario. All right, Tom's got way too much tech. I have a lot too, but I've learned to just embrace it at this point. But I'm curious if y'all out there is like, yo, we have too much tech. Like this is just getting crazy or not enough, right? All right, cool. So we have too much. It sounds like a lot from Tom because he put it in all caps. So there we go. Not enough. Too much. Not enough. Okay. So we have a mixed bag. I was very curious. So we have some not enoughs and we have some too much. Let us continuously know if it's not enough or too much. And I'm going to answer on both of these realms. So what I want you all to think about is when you are thinking about evolving your tech stack, rise of new sales channels. Now most platforms most tools are trying to be platforms. I want you to sit down. Right, you can stand if you want to, but sit down, right? And be like, okay, what does this tech do? Right? You need to ask yourself, what does this tech do? So I'll give you an example. Y'all probably seen them. They've been doing their thing this week. Lavender. I use Lavender, right? What does Lavender do for me? It helps me write better emails and get higher response rates in my cold emails. All right, that's probably something I don't want to remove, right? I'll give another example. Loom. Why am I using Loom? Well, as I'm growing my business right now, which announcements will come out in a couple of weeks, I have to do certain breakdowns of things on how to do certain things to share with others that are working with me. So that is a useful tool. I also use it for prospecting and selling. So it has multi-function. So I don't need other tools because it does multi things, right? So the thing is that you have to think about, what do these tools do for me? If you have a tool in your tech stack, and you can do this with your team, and nobody raises their hand like, we use that tool, you should probably throw it out. So the way that you need to think about the evolution of technology is, how does it make my sellers better, or how does it make you as a seller faster? So I have Lavender. It makes me faster to write emails, so I'm saving a lot of time and I can sell more, right? With Loom, I can break down proposals. Do y'all do video proposals, by the way? If you're not, you're missing out. I can do a video. Check this out. Close the deal like a couple weeks ago. What I was doing is I walk through the proposal with a video that saved, guess what? Time, because I didn't have to go meet with them for 45 minutes. They watched a 7-minute video. The proposal makes sense. Now they want to move forward. We just saved 40 minutes. So you see what I'm saying here is, like, you have to think about, with technology, how do I save time? ChatGPT, you can do fast research with ChatGPT and save yourself time. So what does it come down to? Figure out what technologies you don't need and get rid of it. If you don't have enough technology, figure out what gap does it fill, right? Faster emails, faster calls, whatever, right? That's what you need to be doing. And then the next stage is, how do we iterate and test? So how am I iterating and testing in Lavender? How am I checking out new subject lines? How am I doing new cold call introductions? That's what the technology is for. Orm's a good example of that as well, right? You can do calls at scale and get a higher connect rate. That's saving you time to sell more. So that's what you need to think about. That's the narrative. How do I sell more and get technology to do that? Not, let me give my team technology because it's cool, and then no one knows how to operate it. No one knows the logins, and now you're wasting money. So Tom, hopefully that's answered the question. Now, all right, y'all. We hopefully y'all are enjoying this so far. Let us know if this is impactful so far. Maybe you're a first timer. Maybe you're like, I don't know what this is about, but let us know if you're liking it so far. There's a lot of great questions coming in the chat, and I'm going to answer them. So what we need to know, is this even helpful or impactful? If it's not, then we can always just shut it down. But hopefully this is helpful, impactful so far. And yeah, tag people that need to hear this information, like it, comment, all the things that you're supposed to do on social, I guess. But let's get back to the questions, because that's why y'all are here. All right, cool. So we got one from Tammy. Which is interesting. How do I take people's stories and create with them? I'm always hearing amazing stories from people, and I know there's just so much value each one. I can't figure out how to use them in my business. I'm assuming this is around the customer story. So I'm assuming that's what it is. So when you think about like creating a story, you want to think about, what was the before, what did they experience, right? And then what happened after. So, hey, before, we were struggling with this thing. We picked this because we believe this could potentially solve this problem, whatever. And then here was the transformation. If you think about every story, like even if you watch like a movie or a TV show, it's the same thing almost every single time. Now there's different arc points, and I've studied like different media points where like it starts with conflict and then it goes like transformation, then conflict and transformation. But most people's stories go, there was something, an origin story, right? Something was going on. Then there was a problem that occurred. Then, then there was like some epiphany of like a solution that could happen. And then after they experienced this thing. So Tammy, every single time you think about a customer story, you need to think about, what was the conflict or struggle before, right? What were they looking to solve? Why were they struggling? Then insert your product. What component of your product helped them solve this story? And then after 90 days, because 90 days is standard, 90 days, they accomplished this thing, right? That's it, right? And so that's how you tell those stories. Hey, we had this person, like they were struggling with this, and then they use our tool, and this is what they uncovered and found out. And then now they're doing this, right? Feel, felt, found is essentially that whole entire framework. But to keep it super simple, but that's what you're doing. Hey, yo, they had this problem, they had a conflict, we helped them with this conflict, and now we're doing this with them, and now they're happy about this thing. So if you treat every story like that, it's easier to articulate it and go it that way, because your customers are your best stories. They're your best amplifier at the end of the day. So Tammy, hopefully that helps answer your question, and that was a good question as well. All right, y'all, appreciate everyone that thinks this is helpful and insightful so far. Again, we're going to go through these questions. Y'all have some fire questions. And again, if you're coming in new, best question, gift card. So we're going to see who it is. But these are good questions so far. All right. So after someone accepts a LinkedIn Connect, should the step be a message, video message, or voice note? Do you have a LinkedIn playbook you've seen work that best outlines steps 2, 3, and 4? So I actually do have this. I have a playbook. So I don't know if y'all are ready, though. I don't know if y'all ready for this playbook, though. I don't like, are y'all ready for this playbook? I don't know. Should I even share it? Like, are y'all even ready? Like, I don't even know. Like, I don't know if I should share it. I don't know. Y'all don't even know if you're ready for this one. The thing is, let's talk about. First of all, I had to see if y'all are ready for the playbook. So y'all gotta let me know. But before I share the playbook, this is what's important. This is what you shouldn't do, and then I'm gonna tell you what to do. All right, because I was looking through my connection requests today, and multiple people said this. And this is the fastest way to not get my attention and to ignore you. And a lot of people get this because I don't understand why people are saying this out. I'm confused on why this is happening. So I have to call it out. So if y'all been following, I got to bring out the Ernie voice for this one, because this is I want y'all to break this down. I'm about to do this voice. Maybe y'all haven't heard this before, but every single time that you do something like this, you're going to remember this voice and you're not going to do this anymore. Because this is what I do when I even read out my emails when something sounds crazy. So I got a connection request, right? Some of y'all have gotten this connection request, and it's like, hey, Morgan, looking to connect with you. Looks like we have a couple mutual connections. Looks like we're in the same industry and you also live on Earth. And I just want to see if there's some synergies to connect and get 30 minutes of your time. What? What are you talking about? Like, what is going on? See, this is like the large majority of connection requests. Like, that is the worst way to connect with someone. That is the best way, though, to be the worst performing rep and to get fired. Like, to probably never be in sales ever again. So again, some of y'all are like, oh, okay, like Morgan, this you're roasting people, but I'm not. I'm trying to help. I want you to read. If you get that and you're like typing it right now, you're like, Morgan, here's my connection request. I want you to read out that in another voice, and you're gonna be like, that makes no sense at all. Why am I sending this? Right? That's legitimately what people are sending. It makes no sense. Okay, like stop it. So it's like the fuck control, like just stop it. All right, don't do this. So now we're going to talk about what the way is, right? And so y'all are ready for the playbook. So now I'm going to share with you what you should be doing. Now, some of you may be like, whoa, okay, like I don't really know about this. I've actually found that the blank connection request, super crazy. That means a connection request without any like personalized note has the highest acceptance rate versus sending a personalized note, which is interesting. So what I'm doing, sitting on a blank note, and I get higher acceptance, and now I'm engaging with the message, right? So that's step number one. And hopefully I'll write this down. And if you need me to repeat anything, let me know. This is the key. So that's the first part. Connection request, they accepted. Now, your question is, what do I do now? Okay, but we had to get the first part because we don't want to be like, hey, saw that you live in the planet Earth, western coast. Like, no, you don't want to do that, right? So, no note. Then the next step is you wait 2 days. This is important. You wait 2 days. And also, I've been doing video prospecting this week. So I'm just telling you exactly what I'm doing, like legitimately right now. I send 10 to 15 personalized videos a day. I have not done it today. I'm going to do it right after this. And that's just the way I go about it. 10 to 15 personalized videos every single day. And it leads into meetings. That's the game, right? So now what do we do? 2 days, we wait, add suspense. We're going to send a video, or we're going to add a voice note, or you can ask a question. So you have variables. You can choose your own journey, right? You can do whatever you want here, but that's the goal, right? So now, what are we going to do in these messages? So the voice note and the video are remotely the same. Some of you probably have heard me say this 1,000 times, but I'm going to say it again because the question was asked. This essentially is the 10-30-10. So essentially what you're looking for is you want your video and your voice note to be approximately less than 90 seconds, more preferably less than 60 seconds. So I call it 10-30-10 because the first 10 seconds is the reason for the video or the voice note, the 30 seconds is the value prop, and the last 10 seconds is the call to action. So what you're doing is the first 10 seconds is what is the reason you're reaching out? You don't want to be, I guess we got to bring it back because so this is what I sometimes I get this video and I'm like, you don't want to do this. And again, this is not to roast anyone. This is just how people sound. You're like, hey, so my name's Morgan Ingram and I'm reaching out and I just wanted to say what's up. And I was looking at your LinkedIn and saw all these things that are going on. You just wasted time. I already clicked out of your video. I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, what are you even saying? What are you talking about, right? You have to have a reason why you're reaching out. Not like, hey, what's up? What's going on? I'm here. I'm on the road. I'm hanging out. Like, that's already confusing and people are not going to listen to you. So you want to say, what is the reason for my video? Hey, I saw something on your website that was relevant. I saw something on your careers page. I saw a job update, right? I saw that you recently got promoted. I'm just saying all these things, right? So these are things you can do, as I like to call them, clues. As salespeople, we are detectives, and our goal is to find the best clues to make sure our message and what we're saying is relevant and personalized. So that's why you want to have these clues to be able to stand out, all these different things across the board, right? So that's the key. So that's the reason. 30 seconds is the value prop. So this is the simple part. Email, cold call, I don't really care. You could take this information and then put it inside of the 30 seconds to then articulate your value prop. So there's that. Then the last 10 seconds is the call to action. Now, what the heck? What are you talking about, Morgan? The call to action is just super simple. It's like, hey, would you be interested in learning more? Are you open to a dialogue? Curious to have a conversation, etc. Right? All those things across the board, right? Super simple, very actionable. You can do a lot out of it. So that's like the breakdown there. Those are ways that you can take action. Those are ways that you can even be active to get responses. So that's that. And then if you want to open up, and so on the LinkedIn playbook, there's a lot here. Then if you were to follow up on that, the question you also can start with, you want to ask what's the best way to put it? A relevant based question. So just reverse engineer. So if you think about your future buyer, they have problems and you want to ask a question around their problems, so they're more prone to interact or engage with you, right? That's the key. I don't know what that question would be, but you want to think about that. So I might ask a question and be like, how are you currently addressing your cold calling workshops to make sure that they can handle objections appropriately? I might ask something like that, right? So I'm starting with the question that like would get them to engage, and it knows that I'm relevant, I want to talk to them, etc. Right? So there's that. Once you've sent this thing, then the next step would be to follow up, right? This is where most people fail. Again, Ernie's getting some play. I don't know if you'll like the Ernie voice, but I'm giving y'all Ernie's coming back again because again, I got to bring this up again because most people, this is what they write and this is how you're going to get negative responses, right? So let's get into it. You follow up with someone, right? You follow up with someone and you're like, hey, can you I just want to bubble this back up to the top, or like, did you see my last message? The thing is, as salespeople, you're being too needy. So this is an immediate L. What, like, this is a massive L. All right. So you don't want to say, did you see my message? Can he bubble us back up to the top? Get rid of that language. What you want to say is ask for feedback. So when I've done trainings on this, different clients, even I still do this today, right? This is what I actually do. Like, I'm not giving y'all something that like, oh, like I read this book. Like, no, this is what I do. Conversion rate is 45%. Yeah, I have a personal brand, so that helps. But like, I have other people that do not have that, and they still have 40% reply rate. So I'm just telling you what to do. So what the follow-up is you want to ask for feedback. So you're like, Hi, Sally. Any feedback on my video or any feedback on my voice note? So the reason that that works is people like to give feedback. So they want to give you positive feedback. They may give you neutral feedback or negative feedback. But the goal is that they're going to respond, which is what you want. So even if it's negative, they may say reach back out in a couple months. That's still fine, right? Like that's part of the game, right? So the thing is, think about that formula, and then what you want to do at the end of the day is if they don't respond to that, this is different territory. This is where you can do whatever you want, but some people like to use gifs or gifs. I don't know. I'm not. I mean, we can go in a debate on like, is it gifs or gifs? I don't know. GIFs, GIFs, whatever, the animated thing. All right. You can use that as a follow up, or you could even, I've had people even do video, then a voice note, then they follow up with any feedback. It's up to you on how you want to do it. But that's the playbook. I mean, like, I don't, that's the playbook. If you follow that, you should get meetings. So y'all can let me know if that playbook was helpful. I just broke it down. So there should be no confusion on how to do LinkedIn prospecting. Now, we still have a ton of questions here. I'm going to aim to get to as many as I can as we're into this. But right now we're at the halftime. So we're 30 minutes in. Y'all, we're 30 minutes in. So as of right now, what we're going to do is like this, comment, share, mention somebody that should be getting this information right now. I know it's Friday, but this is still a good time to get some information across the board. So feel free, share it out, like, comment. So again, we can hear more people get this information. So also as well, yeah, definitely. This is actually an add-on to this question. Looks like I may have missed the mark in my messaging outreach out of curiosity, feedback on how I could do that. Someone just dropped in bars. Angela just dropped in the notes bar. So yeah, I think I would I'd copy and paste that. So I mean, if I even share it, it won't even, oh yeah, it won't even give me the whole thing. So y'all should definitely just go in and get that real quick. Now, real quick, let's see. All right. I would say, like, I missed the mark in my messaging and outreach out of curiosity, feedback on how I can improve for the next person. I think I like that. Oh, so you're saying that's what you say. Okay, cool. I think that's a great addition piece as well. So we got some really good stuff here. All right, let's see. Yo, Angela just dropped the bars in there. Y'all should thank her because that was crazy good information. I am coming back up. So we have some pretty good questions here. How do you suggest an email cadence strategy? How would you just follow what's being created? Okay, I'm gonna answer that one. Oh, actually, no, we got a couple. There's some fire ones that are in here. And if, by the way, if I don't answer your question, because I'm probably not gonna get to every single one, I will come back and answer them, or I will message you personally and getting about it. So Perry, I don't know if it's still active in here. What's a great prospecting process? I just gave the LinkedIn playbook, but the best way to think about it is a couple things, because a whole prospecting process, that's a long-winded answer, and that's just even deeper than what we can go on here. What I will tell you is that it needs to have multi-touch. It needs to be brief, be brilliant, be gone, and you need to be creative and innovative. That's the best way to think about a prospecting process. If you're not using multiple channels, you're going to lose. Now, real quick, if y'all hang with me, I have to put my charger back in. But so I'm going to disappear for like 2 seconds. But when it comes to the prospecting process, creative and innovative, using multiple channels, be brief, be brilliant, be gone, you're going to win if you do that. All right. Now we're good. We got to get the charger in play. How do you suggest an email cadence strategy? How would you just follow up emails being created? I typically go with 5 to 7. No. 3 to 5 emails. You're probably mixing in calls, etc., whatever. So I would say 3 to 5 emails within your cadence strategy. Everyone's going to be different. Region will be different as well. Also, buyer persona, so you have to take that in consideration. I would suggest follow-up emails be created for just one. I only do one thread. So I do my first email, and then the first email is then threaded into, or the second email is threaded into the first email, and it's essentially asking for feedback, because typically what I do is the first email is very personalized. No screenshots, no videos, no anything. The second email asks for feedback from the first email, which typically leads to higher response rates. On average, in my cadences, I've seen 8 to 12 response rate when I do the follow-up email to the first email. So that just gives you a strategy there. So Josh, hope that's helping. All right. Uh, Medic as a qualification framework. I've trained organizations that use it. I'm not like a person that uses it all the time. Like I just do discovery, current state, future state. Like that's pretty much like the way I think about it. I'm not saying I'm the gap selling like the best person. I'm just saying that like I don't typically use Medic. I just basically use discovery to figure out what the current pans are, and then I look at the future state. So I don't use that. But if anyone wants to answer the Medic question, they can. If you have that's your thing. What's your best advice on ensuring you're moving through process of the sales cycle and not stalling out of the point? It's actually a really good question. All right. So let's see here. I'm coming back to the chat down here. All right, y'all. We got some good comments in here. Good comments. I would say, like, my best advice is that you need to do 3 things. Typically, it's only 3 things. One is you need to know how long your sales cycle is. You know, some people don't know that, right? They don't even know how long their sales cycle is. So you need to know that at first. And the reason for that is you need to have a rule. So I have and had a rule. Okay, sales cycle is 50 days. Once it passes the 50-day mark, I had like a caution warning in my CRM. And it's like, it's over 50 days. You need to do something about this. So that's when I would send strip line emails. What's a strip line email? Essentially, a strip line email. I got too excited. A strip line email is saying, hey, this is what we've agreed to. This is what's going on. Like, is this something you want to move forward with? In the most simple, broad terms. I don't have it like word for word in front of me, but that's what it is. So you need to know when it passes a certain point, you need to figure out how to recover that and have a conversation. That's number 1. Number 2 is I said it earlier. Texting relationships. That's going to be incredibly important. You can move people along if you have that personal relationship via text. Most people that I'm in sales cycles with, it's either text or WhatsApp for my international people, because I work with international clients. So we have WhatsApp. That's how I communicate. It's how I'm able to close certain opportunities. So there's that. And then on the third point is you want to make sure that you're doing discovery throughout the process, right? You want to move people along and be a guide. So typically what's happening is people are not moving people along and ultimately being guides, which is why they're getting people to be stuck across the board, right? So you have to do that discovery to uncover what's going on throughout the sales cycle to then move people through. So that's what I also say as well. So again, hopefully James, that is helpful. All right. So let's see. Job question. And by the way, if your question has not been answered, I'm aiming to get through it. We are flying through, right? So hopefully y'all are having a good time out here. Hopefully you're enjoying this Friday. If you're also recording, hopefully you enjoy as well. But appreciate it. And let's see. We'll pull this one up. All right. What else should I research when job hunting? So you got it pretty much nailed, right? You got the product, the team, the recent funding. What I would say is there's 2 other items to consider because you pretty much have it on the foundation. Inside of the funding, here's what most people miss. It's not just the funding. It's who funded them, right? So if, like, for example, it's Cuban, I'm probably going to pay more attention to that company. Oh, Mark Cuban invested. That's interesting, right? So you have to pay attention to that. Is the firms that are investing, have they had a good track record so far? Right? You want to see that. So that's number 1 is it's not just the company's recent funding, it's who funded them. And then the second thing that you want to look at is what does their, let's say, enablement team look like? Do they have a lot of people enablement? Do they have no people enablement? You want to make sure that you're going to an organization that's going to coach and train you appropriately. Now, there's some other factors like obviously the culture and the vibe and the energy and product market fit, which has been explained here, but those are 2 additional things to pay attention to as well that, you know, most people may miss. You want to see, okay, do they have enablement? Can they even coach me? And then one is who actually is doing the funding. So those are things that you can pay attention to as well. So hopefully that is helpful. Now, when you said, what if they say they're, what if they still say they're not interested? Which part were you talking about? Because we just talked about a lot of stuff. So could you clarify which part you're talking about so people can get the context of that question? Because I want to be able to answer that. So there's some really good questions that are coming in here. I'm going to come to another James. Yo, James, all Jameses are just coming in hot with some questions here. All right. So how should you approach a cycle when your buyer struggles with FOMO, fear of messing up? Now, this is a great question. Oh, this is in contention because this is actually a really good question, because this is what the majority of you are going to face right now. This is why this is such an excellent question. It's not that people don't want to invest. They're just afraid to mess up. And if the budget's even tighter, you're even more afraid to mess up. Right? So you got to think about that. And so the thing is, we got to give a shout out. I can't even answer the question because, yo, we just got a meeting in the session. Where else are they doing this at? Like, wait. Hold on. Could y'all just show some love to Katie real quick? Everybody in the chat, just show some love to Katie real quick. So here's what I'm telling y'all. We just shared some advice. I said, hey, this is what you should do. Katie was like, oh, let me go listen. Executed and got a response. Now, did it lead to a meeting is probably what the follow-up question people are going to ask, but we got a response. So shout out to Katie. We're in the middle of this show and we're already getting meetings, right? We're out here getting meetings. I don't know. Like I got another sound like we're just hitting shots out here. Like I don't know what to tell y'all. If you come to this, you will get meetings and you will get results. I guarantee that, right? So shout out to Katie. We got to show some love. We had to stop the show. Like we had to just completely just stop the show here and make sure to show some love real quick. All right. So that's the absolute key. And no, I just love it. So one more time, we gotta reverse it and we gotta show some love. All right. So let's get back to the question, because this was a great question and I don't want to sleep on this question. So let me get back to it. James, we got you. James, you're still here. Hopefully you're still here, you're hanging out. But this is a good question. All right. So fear of missing out. Okay. So the goal here, let's start from like a goal standpoint. And I think if anyone else wants to add in more comments here, like feel free to do so. Like if you're like, hey, Morgan, I deal with the situation in the chat. You want to go in, you can. Like, I'm not like the leading source of everything. Like someone might have a better answer to this, but I genuinely really like this question. It's my favorite one so far. So let's take a step back, right? And let's talk about from a buyer struggle standpoint, right? The fear of missing out. I'm going to say this again because we were celebrating, so we got to get back. People are going to be afraid to spend things because the budgets are tightening, right? So when people get afraid, less likely to spend, right? Less likely to do things because they don't want to make a mistake. So how can you make sure that they are confident in what you're doing? Now, this is something that I learned from John Barrows when I was at the organization. And this is a question that I ask people if I feel this, right? Because sometimes some of y'all know this, like you're on a call and you feel it. It's like, okay, like this person is on edge. Like they have to make a right decision. They might have just previously made a bad decision, right? The question you want to ask them, right, is how can I make you look good if you were to make this investment? Hold on, Rick. Hold on. Like, I don't think y'all heard me. Okay, so how do I make sure to make you look good if you were to make this investment? I want y'all to write that question down, because now it becomes more personal, becomes more emotional for them, because again, they have an emotion of fear. So you have to have another emotion of support for them. So you're going to ask them this question. Now, I don't know how they're going to answer this question. I can't tell you that, but that is the question to ask, because now they may be like, you know what? Like they're gonna open up. Okay, yeah, I made this decision like 2 weeks ago, and like it just was like it didn't go well, or I did this a quarter ago, and now I have to make a really good decision, or you know what I'm saying. So that's like a really big piece of as well. Here's another question, right? So it comes down to questions. It's like, look, like based on, and this comes down to good discovery first and foremost. But let's say you did good discovery, you identified there's a problem. So if they don't do this, like it's probably not going to be good. So it's like you're going to ask them, hey, what happens if you don't make this decision based on what we've uncovered? Then they're going to be like, you know what? Like if I don't make this decision, it could lead into X. Now they could say it leads to nothing, which means you need to do more discovery, but it could be like it leads to X. Problem, right? It's probably not the best. That's not what you want, right? So there's that situation. And then also as well, the key here is to rally around. So what I mean by that is you want to find other people that can rally around this initiative, right? Finding other team members, finding other people that can advocate for your solution or your service, right? Because if a buyer, right, we're talking about one buyer, is struggling with the fear of missing out, then ultimately at the end of the day, they are not going to buy, right? They're going to be like, I don't want to do this. However, if there are 4 other people in the organization, they're like, we should probably do this. They're not going to feel the weight as much. Even if they have to make the decision, they know other people advocated for them to make that decision. So, James, don't know if you're still here. I saw you dropping the question. I know we were going through, but my hope is that you were able to take this answer and it was helpful. And for people that are just listening in, my hope is that this was helpful for you. Now, we're gonna. I know some questions more to answer, but I'm curious as we're wrapping up towards the end. What's your favorite candy? I know, random question. Y'all are like, wait, hold up. What is your favorite candy? I'm actually just overall very curious what people's favorite candy are. There's like no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just curious. What's your favorite candy? Let us know in the chat. And the thing is, what I told y'all is like that fear of missing out piece is going to happen. I'm just gonna let y'all know right now. You're gonna run into that. So that framework and formula I just gave you is a way to break that down and get the most out of it, right? James, you're here. All right, cool. So James, was that answer helpful? And for everyone across the board, let me know if the answers I've given have been helpful so far. If not, you can DM me and be like, hey, Morgan, I heard you say that, but like I didn't get that part. And I'm more than happy to provide more context. All right, cool. Let's get into some more questions here, y'all. We're vibing. Hopefully, y'all enjoying your Friday so far. I don't know what y'all's weekend plans are. Hopefully, there's something fun. And something exciting is what I'm hoping for. But I appreciate y'all as we get to the other questions. I just appreciate y'all coming through. I know it's a Friday, got a lot of things going on, but y'all are showing up. Y'all are asking great questions. And for those of you who are new, hopefully you're enjoying your Muffins with Morgan experience. This month is exciting. We have some guests that are going to be exciting. We have some things that we're going to be doing that are going to be exciting. So stay tuned for that across the board. All right. So I'm making sure I've gotten to questions that I believe that I've answered. We answered the product questions. Someone asked, how do you make videos that people will pay attention to and fully watch? The 10-30-10 is the example, but I'll just keep this short. The way that you're going to get people to watch is 3 things. One is the thumbnail. So I've been doing a lot of studying on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, so if you want to subscribe, it's Morgan J. Ingram. So go check that out if you want to. I'm gonna start doing more long form content, more personal content, lifestyle content, stuff that I don't talk about really on LinkedIn because it's just not as applicable. But you can go subscribe, Morgan J. Ingram. Just go look it up. Purple background, everything. Anyways, my whole point is that I was studying a lot of YouTube, and the biggest videos all attribute to having a good thumbnail. So what does that mean? That doesn't mean you need to go be in Canva and be like, oh, Morgan, I got to create this thumbnail. Like, that's not what I'm saying. You just need to smile. All right. I've seen so many videos where people will send me a video, right? And this is the thumbnail. Bruh, what? I'm not gonna click on your video. You look like you're lost, like the sun's in your eye, or they're in the dark. It's like, yo, I didn't ask for a caveman. Come presentable. So thumbnail is number 1, and basically you want to like smile, look approachable. You don't have to be creepy, but just smile. Like I'm not asking for a whole lot. All right, number 2, and the key here is that you want to make sure that your first 3 seconds are on point. That's why I say the reason for the video is you don't need to introduce your name. Y'all don't introduce your name. And I think my boy Rob said this earlier. If I think we could pull this up because I think he dropped the bar, and hopefully y'all think y'all missed it, right? Removing my name from cold calling and video outreach was a game changer. Also, your name is already there if you're sending a video. What are we doing? Your name's already in. Your name is already there. Why are you introducing yourself? It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. I'm gonna let y'all know why. Nobody cares. Why are you introducing yourself? Hey, my name is Morgan Ingram. That literally was 3 seconds, and now they're not watching anymore. Do you see how critical this stuff is? Like, not a lot of people talk about the context within the context. The fact that you just said, "Hi, my name is Morgan Ingram, and I'm from X company," you just lost an opportunity because you were talking about yourself and nobody cared. Your name is in the profile. Come on. So, yeah, I just wanted to call that out. And then the third thing is how to make them more engaging is to make sure that once you say the reason for the video, you have to have something that like information that you actually did some research. Because you don't want to say, hey, the reason for my video is I just wanted to say what's up. No, you got to say the reason for my video is I found something, website, LinkedIn, etc. Clinton, if you're still here, let us know. How do you know if it's seen? So I think they took the option away. You used to be able to actually see it. There was like the profile picture on the video on the bottom right. It used to be like, okay, they saw it, but that's no longer a thing. I think they took it away. Am I a fan of that? No, I'm not, but I think they took it away. So that's the case. All right, cool, y'all. So we got some good stuff coming in. This is instead of fear of messing up, shift to missing out. There we go. Such a hot topic. Find ways to be creative. Okay, let's see. Started off an email into asking the question Reese's or a Kit Kat. Love the reply rate. An easy way to show personality. Cameron, I love that. I might have to cop that one. That's actually a really good one. Let me know if that breakdown was good that we just talked about. We're still hanging here. If you're still hanging with me, appreciate y'all and appreciate this conversation as we've been going into it. And I appreciate y'all sharing your candy as well. So let's see if someone else gets a meeting. That would be pretty crazy if someone else got a meeting while we're here. That would be wild. All right, y'all. So I believe that I am answering every single question so far, and I see a couple more, and I think we're going to be able to accomplish it here as well. Callum, what is the best way to use the content your marketing teams publish, reviews you receive from customers, and elements within your company's website to create content for prospecting? So this is a really good question. This is in contention too. This is a really good question. All right. So, oh, Parker, yo, what? Yo, my boy Parker. I gotta show love to Parker. So I'm actually what? Criminal number one, I guess what it is. Like public enemy number one. I went to Auburn for a year and a half, transferred to UGA. So most people at Auburn don't like me. But Parker, it's good to see you, man. It's been a long time. Guess I went to the right school, I guess, because we've been out here winning championships. But nonetheless, Parker, it's good to see you. Had a great time when I was there. Now, what is the best way, like we talked about, for content? So the main way that you want to do this, Callum, is you actually want to integrate it into your campaign. So remember when we talked about like building those campaigns with like 3 to 5 emails? So it just goes into the answer to that question. So what you want to do here is go to the marketing team and just say, hey, Michelle, you're late. We're actually leaving. So, all right, everybody like boo Michelle. I'm just kidding. Don't boo Michelle. It's good to see Michelle. Welcome. So what is the best way, right? Go to your marketing team, Callum. And for everyone else, if you also are in this situation, like do what I'm about to say, go to the marketing team and say, hey, what is the best, let's say, click-through rate or form fill or however they're tracking it? What's our most highly engaged content? You're going to take that content, you're going to put it into your sales cadences, and you're going to add context around it. Then you're going to take the reviews and try to find screenshots of those reviews that you then can put in your emails as well. Because not every single thing that you do when it comes to your emails is going to be the standard, here's the reason why I'm reaching out, value prop, call to action. You might want to throw in some case studies. You might want to throw in some content, etc. And so what you're doing here, Callum, is you're just going to go to the team, ask them what is the most highly engaged content. You're then going to put that inside of the cadence of the campaign, and that's what you're going to do moving forward. So it's like extremely straightforward there. What I would do as well, this is something I would write down too. Hopefully y'all do this because I did this when I was an SDR. I worked with the marketing team to create this collateral and we saw some really good engagement. So you're going to take every objection that you face. And what I mean by that is like product objections. things that aren't like reach out in 6 months, like legitimate, like, hey, how does your platform compare? How do you do this? Right? Very technical things that like typically you face. Take that information, give it to your marketing team, have them create assets. And once you have those assets, you can send it to prospects to convert more opportunities because it's going to be a well thought out piece that you can send in follow ups to get more conversions. So that's something else that you can do. So, Callum, if you're still here, let us know. Let us know if that's helpful. But that's the way that I would go about it, man. It's like collaborating with this team is important. Jasmine, so I have all the video tools and I use them because I like to stay informed because that's just who I am. However, I use Loom for my stuff because I'm using it for two different functions. So I just don't like having 1,000 tools for whatever. I only have it to test, but in actual use, no. So I have Loom because I'm doing screen shares on things to like show different things from like a product standpoint because I'm building certain things. So I have to show people what to do. And then like I'm doing it also for selling as well. I do video prospecting, but I do that more on my iPhone through LinkedIn than I do through a product. I use Loom for internal things to talk with certain people that I'm working with. And then I also use it to do video proposals. Let's put it this way. I use video to sell more than I do prospect, which might shock a lot of you. But if you're not using video in your sales cycle, you're missing a massive opportunity to be successful because I'm saving a lot of time. I'm in less meetings and I'm selling more. I think that's what y'all want, right? Less meetings and selling more. That's how I see it. Best books to read depends on what you're trying to learn. So this is what I'll tell you. So I got this advice from Patrick Bet David. I don't know if y'all follow Patrick Bet David. If you do, let me know in the chat. I listen to him every single morning as I've gone out on my entrepreneur journey. He's extremely helpful if you're planning to ever be an entrepreneur or you want to continuously perform high in sales. He's the person that I recommend to follow highly. So anyways, the thing is that I mention him because when you talk about reading books, it's like, what are you trying to learn, right? So for example, a great book is Harry Potter, but is Harry Potter going to help you close more deals? It's probably not, right? like it's probably not going to help you close more deals, right? Like it's just not, right? However, other books could, right? So I'll just give you like my high level. Like I Love Law of Success. It's by Napoleon Hill, same person who wrote Think and Grow Rich. I think if you read that book, you just understand the cornerstones of success. It has the basis foundations, and honestly, it's something I should read again now that I'm even saying that to you right now. The other one that I like is the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. Each law and basically each law has a way that you grow, and there's different ways of looking at it. So again, you could go read that if you want to. And another book that I really like is Vanessa Van Edwards' Captivate. It allows you to read body language. I believe in the world we're in right now with virtual and in person, and things are continuously evolving in that way. You need to be able to read people's body language. Like, especially if you're selling, you need to know if people are vibing with you, if they don't like what you're saying, if they think you're whack. Like, you need to know, right? And that's the key. Yeah. Greg, I absolutely agree with that as well. And I like how Loom follows me around, right? So if I'm just on a site, boom, I could do it. And also when you record a Loom video, I'm not a Loom app. I don't have like a affiliate link or anything. I'm just telling you what I use. I found that Loom is helpful because when I'm recording the video, I actually find that I can still look at what I'm looking at. So if I'm replying to like an email objection or something like that, the video doesn't take up the screen. The video is still in the corner, but it appears as if I'm on the screen. And it's really slick because I can read the objection, I can answer it, I can be thoughtful, and I'm not like remembering what it was. So again, it's just more intuitive. It's all of this is personal preference when it comes down to it, but again, that is what I would tell you. All right, let's see. I think there's a couple more here. KitKat, video platform. All right, so as we are wrapping up here, I asked this earlier. I'm going to ask it again because we have a lot of new people. If you're new today, put a 1 in the chat. If you were new, if you've never been to a Muffins in Morgan, for context, I did this back during COVID on Saturday mornings when nobody could go anywhere. So we're bringing it back. I have a lot of exciting stuff for this month. Y'all are not prepared for who we have and what we're going to do. I am excited to do it. But if you are new, put a 1 in the chat. I just want to see everyone that's new. And if you are new, let me know. Impactful, helpful? What would you like to see in these upcoming episodes? Because I have different variations on a whiteboard that I've written out, but would love to hear your feedback on what you would like to learn more about. So really the three things are: one, if you found it helpful, put it, or if you did find it helpful, impactful, you can write in the chat. If you're new, put a one in the chat. If you're returning, it's always good seeing you. And then also as well, let me know what else you would like to hear. What would you like to learn about? Next week, I'm planning to do a sales navigator workshop, like deep dive, showing you all that's going on. If you're interested in that, obviously you can let me know in the chat. But the goal is to do a sales nav workshop. People found that to be very beneficial. Last time that I did it, we had people fired up. So I'm gonna go through it again. There's a lot of updates I want to walk people through, and there's tons that you can take action on. So how to build cadences, we definitely can touch on that. But again, let me know your feedback. You can also DM me as well. You don't have to put in the chat. All right. But I believe I believe we're like right on time and I answered everyone's questions. If I did not, you can repost it in the chat. No, wait. Okay, I think with Candace. I think with this last question we have here. And I'll let y'all know. He might, if he's still here. Actually, we have two questions. What tips do you have for transitioning from the reason of the call to value prop? So I like to call this the context, context in the context. I know it's wordy, but essentially it's like, I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm reaching out to Angela. Let's just use her as an example, right? SDR manager, I'm trying to sell some training and I want to get in front of her and she's ignoring me, whatever. So I'm going to make a video. I'll just do the whole thing so we can just go through it. Hi, Angela. The reason for my video is I noticed on your website that you're hiring SDRs. And typically when I see people hiring SDRs, they're looking to onboard those reps appropriately and skill them up in the right way. So our solution, again, you see how it goes to the value prop? Our solution is focused on helping your reps get better at cold calling so they don't stutter on the phone and they can be confident to increase their conversion rate. And I'm just curious, would you be open to learning more about how we do that? I'm just giving you all an example of how I do it. As you can see, I've done these quite a few times. But the thing is you go from the reason, right? You notice my reason was I saw you're hiring reps. Then I explained why the reason. So context of context. Typically, this is what I see, right? So I'm giving you context within the context. Then I tell you why I did that, which is the solution. So that's how you tie it in. All right. So I think one of the biggest challenges I'm having would be the leads. All right, let's just pull this up. Would be the leads that I'm actually done presenting, and there's a potential for it to close. However, the opportunity goes cold. What would your advice be on how I get back them being warm? So I think the biggest piece is you have to keep them engaged. And what I mean by that is, if at all possible, on the call, you're scheduling next steps. Where I've seen things fall off is where I do not have a check-in meeting. And guess what? I've made that mistake countless of times. I still make the mistake where like I get sometimes a little bit too happy. I'm like, oh, that sounds great. And then they never say anything to you because you don't have something on the calendar. So the reason like that's happening is you have to keep them warm, but by keeping them on the calendar. So when someone says, hey, like there's a potential here, you need to find a way of what the next steps are. And you may not be laying out what the next steps are. You may just be like, oh, I'll just follow up. You need to be a guide and say, hey, no, typically like when this is over, I like to do a follow-up call in the next couple of days. Are you free on Thursday, right? So you're nailing those next steps down. So in the majority of the sales cycles that I'm in or whatever it is, I'm like, hey, like when are we meeting next? Even to the point where I'm saying, let's meet 2 days later. Let's meet tomorrow, right? And all based on their timeline and their decision-making. So you can drive urgency if you've uncovered it, which is part of maybe, again, they could be going cold because of your discovery, right? Or how you do your upfront contract. Those are things that I don't know, so it's hard for me to answer without that context. But what I will tell you is that you need to drive next steps somehow. You should be like, okay, hey, like, how can I get this person in the next steps? I probably need to proactively give them a way to get on the calendar, right? So that's the key thing as well. All right, y'all. So some people helpful, impactful, live cold calls. I mean, we could figure that out. we could potentially figure that out. Let's see what else we got. How to follow with, okay, I think that's a good topic too. All right, y'all. So we have answered everyone's questions. So I mean, look, like I told y'all, even though it's rapid fire, we're gonna answer the questions. Now, everyone asked amazing questions, but I gotta give it to James. I gotta give the James M. James, I'm gonna hit you up, get you your gift card. Like I said, we hold to the word here. And that was just a fantastic question. The fear of missing out, it's timely, it makes sense. I like that question, and that's what I'm going to go with. Now, again, we're going to have more opportunities to get more gift cards. So y'all all relax. All right. But the thing is, y'all asked some great questions. I'm hoping this was helpful. As you see, we had a meeting set today, y'all. I mean, like, I don't know what else to say. We got a response already on the show. So there it is. So hopefully everyone again has a blessed Friday, a blessed weekend. The goal is to do this every single Friday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Appreciate y'all hopping in, and hope again y'all have a blessed rest of your day. Cheers.